Success and greatness are rarely found on the path well trodden by the majority. The 99% of people operate within the boundaries of comfort, choosing familiarity over challenge, ease over effort, and conformity over creativity. They seek safety in predictability and settle for what is immediate and obvious. Yet the 1% who rise above this crowd understand a universal truth. To achieve extraordinary results, you must be willing to do what most people are unwilling to do. It begins with recognizing that comfort is a trap disguised as security. While the majority are content to follow trends, opinions, and societal norms, those who aim for uncommon success embrace the unknown, the uncomfortable, and the unconventional. They see opportunity where others see risk. And they understand that growth, wealth, and influence do not reside in the familiar patterns of ordinary life. When the average person is waiting for the perfect moment, the uncommon achiever is creating it. When the masses are avoiding hard work, the 1% are putting in effort silently, strategically, and consistently. This is not luck. It is intentional action born from awareness and vision. Doing what the 99% are not doing requires an inner courage to go against the tide, to defy popular opinion, and to step into the areas most avoided because they are difficult, misunderstood, or risky. It requires a mindset that perceives failure, not as the end, but as a stepping stone toward mastery. The majority fear making mistakes, fear criticism, and fear standing out. But the extraordinary understand that these fears are signals that deep, learning skills that the masses ignore, taking responsibility when others blame circumstances, or investing in personal growth when distractions beckon. These small, deliberate actions, repeated daily, compound into outcomes that the majority cannot comprehend because they have not invested in the process that precedes results. The truth is that extraordinary achievements are not born from talent alone, but from the willingness to engage in behaviors that the majority shy away from. When everyone else is looking for comfort, the successful are intentionally pushing boundaries. When most people are reactive, the 1% are proactive. This often means being misunderstood, criticized, or even rejected, but it also means creating a life of freedom, purpose, and influence that the average person cannot imagine. The courage to act when the majority hesitates is not innate. It is cultivated. It is cultivated through self-awareness, discipline, and the willingness to confront inner doubts and societal pressures. The moment you decide to pursue what others will not, you step into a different dimension of possibility. You begin to attract resources, relationships, and opportunities that remain invisible to those who follow the crowd. The actions that seem difficult or inconvenient at first become the habits that shape your character, mindset, and future. Doing what the 99% are not doing is rarely glamorous or immediately rewarding. It requires patience, resilience, and unwavering commitment. It demands that you consistently choose the path of growth over ease, of vision over comfort, and of long-term benefit over immediate satisfaction. Those who master this understand that their time, energy, and focus are precious commodities that must be directed toward actions that yield exponential results, not the repetitive patterns that keep the majority stagnant. They embrace discomfort as a sign of progress, and they recognize that the ordinary path only leads to ordinary results. To live a life of extraordinary success, influence, and fulfillment, one must be willing to step off the well-worn road, ignore the chorus of doubt from the crowd, and take deliberate, purposeful action in areas most are unwilling to go. This mindset transforms not only the outcomes in life, but the very person who undertakes the journey. It strengthens character, sharpens focus, and builds a resilience that becomes a shield against setbacks. Those who embrace this principle understand that true wealth, impact, and legacy are created when you do what is hard, what is unpopular, and what is necessary when no one is watching. It is this relentless pursuit of the uncommon path that separates those who achieve greatness from those who merely exist. It is this understanding that allows an individual to rise above the limitations imposed by fear, doubt, and conformity. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality, the silent engine that drives success when motivation fades and circumstances challenge your resolve. Most people live their lives reacting to external forces, waiting for inspiration to strike or for emotions to align perfectly with their goals. But the truth is that motivation is fleeting, inconsistent, and unreliable. The 99% depend on temporary feelings to propel their actions. And when those feelings fade, their progress stalls. The 1%, however, understand that discipline is not dependent on feelings. Discipline is a conscious decision, a commitment to act consistently toward your objectives regardless of mood, circumstance, or opposition. It is the willingness to do what must be done, even when the task is tedious, difficult, or unglamorous. Discipline is the daily practice of aligning your behavior with your vision, even when no one is watching and even when recognition is absent. Most people underestimate the power of small discipline. Actions repeated consistently over time. They look for instant results, shortcuts, or dramatic breakthroughs, but the extraordinary know that monumental achievements are rarely born from sporadic effort. They are the product of relentless, focused, and methodical action. The ability to remain disciplined separates those who achieve lasting success from those who drift aimlessly through life. Discipline is not a restriction. It is the freedom to create the life you desire by mastering yourself. It requires self-awareness and the courage to confront your weaknesses, to resist impulses that distract, and to prioritize long-term goals over short-term pleasure. While the average person succumbs to procrastination, excuses, and distractions, the disciplined individual maintains focus, prioritizes high-value activities, and consistently invests energy where it produces the greatest impact. Discipline builds character because it demands that you act in alignment with your values, principles, and vision, even when doing so is uncomfortable. It develops resilience because you learn to persevere through monotony, resistance, and setbacks without losing momentum. It strengthens mental fortitude because you cultivate the ability to delay gratification, resist temptation, and remain committed when others abandon their efforts. The disciplined person does not rely on luck, talent, or circumstance. They create the conditions for success through intentional action. Discipline transforms ordinary tasks into extraordinary results because it converts consistency into momentum, persistence into progress, and effort into achievement. Every small decision matters. Every choice contributes to the trajectory of your life. Discipline ensures that those choices consistently move you toward your ultimate goals. It is the quiet force that compounds over time, building an invisible foundation of competence, reliability, and excellence that others fail to notice until it produces visible outcomes. Most people admire results without recognizing the disciplined behaviors that precede them, but the 1% know that excellence is always preceded by effort, and that consistent, disciplined action is non-negotiable. Discipline requires accountability to oneself, the ability to resist shortcuts that compromise integrity, and the fortitude to continue even when immediate rewards are absent. It is about cultivating routines, habits, and systems that align with your purpose and goals, knowing that small actions compounded over days, months, and years lead to exponential results. It demands that you rise when others sleep, study when others play, invest when others spend recklessly, and act when others hesitate. Discipline is also about focus, the ability to concentrate on what truly matters and to ignore distractions, opinions, and pressures that attempt to pull you off course. While most people are reactive, disciplined individuals are proactive, taking control of their time, energy, and priorities. It is this unwavering commitment to doing what must be done, whether it is enjoyable or not, that builds momentum, creates opportunities, and ultimately produces results far beyond the reach of those who rely solely on motivation. Discipline shapes identity because who you become is the sum of what you consistently do and the discipline. A person becomes someone who naturally produces success because their actions are aligned with excellence. They understand that every victory, no matter how small, is a result of persistence, focus, and adherence to principle, and that there are no shortcuts to mastery, achievement, or fulfillment. Most people live their lives chasing instant gratification, believing that success is measured by what they can gain immediately rather than by what they build over time. They are trapped in the illusion that speed and convenience define achievement, while ignoring the power of patience and long-term thinking to do what the 99% are not doing. You must learn to think beyond the present moment, to focus on the results that require persistence, foresight, and disciplined action. Thinking long-term means understanding that the seeds of greatness you plant today may not bear fruit tomorrow, next week, or even next year. Yet their growth compounds quietly and steadily eventually transforming your life in ways the impatient majority cannot comprehend. The masses seek quick wins, shortcuts, and immediate validation, but true success demands the willingness to sacrifice temporary comfort for enduring reward. Those who succeed at the highest level understand that every choice, every habit, every action contributes to a larger vision that unfolds gradually over time. It is a mindset that allows you to endure challenges, setbacks, and delays without losing faith or abandoning the pursuit of your goals. Thinking long-term requires discipline, foresight, and the ability to delay gratification. While others spend their time consumed with immediate pleasures, the 1% invest their energy into activities that cultivate growth, knowledge, skill, and influence. They understand that wealth, impact, and fulfillment are not the products of short-term thinking, but of consistent action aligned with a greater purpose. Long-term thinking also requires clarity of vision, knowing precisely what you want to achieve and why it matters. When you anchor your actions to a vision that transcends temporary discomfort or distraction, you gain the power to persevere when the majority falters. While impatience and impulsivity dominate the behavior of the 99%, the uncommon achiever recognizes that time is a crucial ally, that momentum builds slowly, and that success is rarely a linear process. They are willing to invest months or years in preparation, learning, and refinement, understanding that the foundation they are building today will support the extraordinary outcomes of tomorrow. This mindset is not passive, it is active. Patience. It is the ability to take deliberate, consistent steps toward long-term goals while resisting the lure of immediate rewards that have little lasting value. Most people abandon projects, dreams, or ambitions because the results do not appear quickly enough. But the 1% understand that consistency over time outweighs intensity in the short term. Long-term thinking also requires strategic foresight, the ability to anticipate challenges, trends, and opportunities that the majority overlook. While others react to circumstances, the uncommon achiever positions themselves ahead of the curve, preparing for outcomes that may not manifest for months or years. They understand that the majority fail not because they lack talent or desire, but because they are unwilling to endure the process necessary for lasting achievement. Thinking beyond instant results allows you to navigate setbacks without panic, criticism without discouragement, and failure without surrender. Each delay, obstacle, or difficulty becomes a lesson, a tool, and a stepping stone toward mastery. While impatience leads the masses to quit early, long-term thinking builds resilience, knowledge, and confidence that compound silently until they reach critical mass and produce breakthroughs that seem miraculous to those who gave up too soon. Long-term thinkers also cultivate the ability to prioritize, distinguishing between actions that produce short-lived satisfaction and those that yield enduring impact. They understand that effort misdirected on trivial matters is wasted energy, while effort aligned with long-term goals is multiplied over time. This requires discipline, strategic focus, and a willingness to forego social approval or immediate recognition in favor of greater rewards later. To think long-term is to commit to a journey that many will abandon, to persevere when the process feels slow, and to maintain faith in unseen results. It requires vision, patience, and the courage to act consistently, even when the outcome is uncertain. It transforms ordinary action into extraordinary achievement, delays into advantage, and persistence into exponential growth. While the majority remain enslaved to the present moment, people live their lives chasing instant gratification, believing that success is measured by what they can gain immediately rather than by what they build over time. They are trapped in the illusion that speed and convenience define achievement, while ignoring the power of patience and long-term thinking. To do what the 99% are not doing, you must learn to think beyond the present moment, to focus on the results that require persistence, foresight, and disciplined action. Thinking long-term means understanding that the seeds of greatness you plant today may not bear fruit tomorrow, next week, or even next year. Yet their growth compounds quietly and steadily, eventually transforming your life in ways the impatient majority cannot comprehend. The masses seek quick wins, shortcuts, and immediate validation, but true success demands the willingness to sacrifice temporary comfort for enduring rewards. Those who succeed at the highest level understand that every choice, every habit, every action contributes to a larger vision that unfolds gradually over time. It is a mindset that allows you to endure challenges, setbacks, and delays without losing faith or abandoning the pursuit of your goals. Thinking long-term requires discipline, foresight, and the ability to delay gratification. While others spend their time consumed with immediate pleasures, the 1% invest their energy into activities that cultivate growth, knowledge, skill, and influence. They understand that wealth, impact, and fulfillment are not the products of short-term thinking, but of consistent action aligned with a greater purpose. Long-term thinking also requires clarity of vision, knowing precisely what you want to achieve and why it matters. When you anchor your actions to a vision that transcends temporary discomfort or distraction, you gain the power to persevere when the majority falters. While impatience and impulsivity dominate the behavior of the 99%, the uncommon achiever recognizes that time is a crucial ally, that momentum builds slowly, and that success is rarely a linear process. They are willing to invest months or years in preparation, learning, and refinement, understand that the foundation they are building today will support the extraordinary outcomes of tomorrow. This mindset is not passive, it is active patience. It is the ability to take deliberate, consistent steps toward long-term goals while resisting the lure of immediate rewards that have little lasting value. Most people abandon projects, dreams, or ambitions because the results do not appear quickly enough. But the 1% understand that consistency over time outweighs intensity in the short term. Long-term thinking also requires strategic foresight, the ability to anticipate challenges, trends, and opportunities that the majority overlook. While others react to circumstances, the uncommon achiever positions themselves ahead of the curve, preparing for outcomes that may not manifest for months or years. They understand that the majority fail not because they lack talent or desire, but because they are unwilling to endure the process necessary for lasting achievement. Thinking beyond instant results allows you to navigate setbacks without panic, criticism without discouragement, and failure without surrender. Each delay, obstacle, or difficulty becomes a lesson, a tool, and a stepping stone toward mastery. While impatience leads the masses to quit early, long-term thinking builds resilience, knowledge, and confidence that compound silently until they reach critical mass and produce breakthroughs that seem miraculous to those who gave up too soon. Long-term thinkers also cultivate the ability to prioritize, distinguishing between actions that produce short-lived satisfaction and those that yield enduring impact. They understand that effort misdirected on trivial matters is wasted energy, while effort aligned with long-term goals is multiplied over time. This requires discipline, strategic focus, and a willingness to forego social approval or immediate recognition in favor of greater rewards later. To think long-term is to commit to a journey that many will abandon, to persevere when the process feels slow, and to maintain faith in unseen results. It requires vision, patience, and the courage to act consistently even when the outcome is uncertain. It transforms ordinary action into extraordinary achievement, delays into advantage, and persistence into exponential growth. While the majority remain enslaved to the present moment, long-term thinkers harness the unseen power of time, understanding that every deliberate choice, every invested hour, and every cultivated habit compounds into results that the impatient cannot imagine. The ability to resist instant gratification, to focus on long-term objectives, and to align daily action with future outcomes is a defining trait of those who do what the 99% will not do. Long-term thinkers harness the unseen power of time, understanding that every deliberate choice, every invested hour, and every cultivated habit compounds into results that the impatient cannot imagine. The ability to resist instant gratification, to focus on long-term objectives, and to align daily action with future outcomes is a defining trait of those who do what the 99% will not do. Investing in yourself is one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make. Yet it is a principle that the majority neglect entirely. Most people spend their time, energy, and resources on external pursuits, seeking approval, entertainment, or short-term pleasures, while ignoring the single asset that will determine the trajectory of their lives, themselves. To do what the 99% are not doing, you must recognize that your growth, knowledge, skills, mindset, and character are the most valuable investments available. The masses underestimate the compounding effect of deliberate self-investment, thinking that education, mentorship, and personal development are luxuries rather than necessities. They consume content passively, live reactively, and rarely take steps to elevate themselves beyond the average. The 1% understand that the more they invest in themselves, the greater their capacity to create opportunities, solve problems, and influence the world around them. They read books that expand their thinking, attend seminars and workshops that sharpen their skills, seek mentors who have walked the path before them, and spend time reflecting on their goals, progress, and purpose. Every hour invested in learning, growth, or self-improvement compounds like interest in a bank account, producing results far beyond what most people ever imagine. Most people are afraid of investing in themselves because it requires time, money, and effort up front with no immediate guarantee of return. They hesitate to read a book that challenges their current beliefs, to pay for an education that stretches their budget, or to take on experiences that push them beyond comfort. The uncommon achiever embraces these costs because they understand that the payoff is not instant but inevitable when combined with persistence and discipline. Investing in yourself also means cultivating habits that enhance physical, mental, and emotional well-being. The majority neglect their health, energy, and mindset, assuming these aspects will take care of themselves. But those who succeed at the highest level know that self-care, nutrition, exercise, and mindfulness are essential tools that enable them to perform consistently at a level far beyond the average. They understand that wealth, influence, and accomplishment are built on a foundation of clarity, energy, and focus that comes only from intentional self-investment. Investing in yourself requires the courage to step outside your comfort zone, to embrace learning experiences that challenge your assumptions, and to surround yourself with people who elevate your thinking rather than drag you down. Most people remain in familiar circles, accepting mediocrity and conformity, but the uncommon achiever actively seeks environments, communities, and mentors that push them to grow, adapt, and evolve. This investment is not merely financial or intellectual. It is deeply personal. It involves examining your beliefs, values, and mindset, identifying areas that limit your potential, and consciously choosing to develop new ways of thinking and behaving that align with your vision. It is a commitment to lifelong growth and mastery, a dedication to becoming more capable, knowledgeable, and resourceful than you were yesterday. The majority fail to see the connection between investing in themselves and achieving extraordinary results because they focus on external circumstances rather than internal growth. The 1% understand that no opportunity can surpass the capacity of the person who seizes it. Your ability to think critically, adapt creatively, solve problems effectively, and let others is directly proportional to the energy, time, and effort you invest in yourself. Every book you read, every course you take, every mentor you learn from, and every habit you cultivate multiplies your ability to achieve goals that would be impossible for someone unprepared. Investing in yourself also creates confidence, resilience, and clarity. The more you grow, the more you trust your ability to handle challenges, overcome obstacles, and take advantage of opportunities. This self-investment transforms your perception of risk, failure, and possibility, allowing you to operate in spaces where the 99% never dare to venture. While most people complain about circumstances, wait for luck, or blame external factors, those who invest relentlessly in themselves create circumstances, attract luck, and take control of their destiny. It is a deliberate, conscious choice to prioritize growth over comfort, knowledge over ignorance, and capability over complacency. This choice sets you apart, positioning you to accomplish what most cannot, achieve influence beyond the ordinary, and experience fulfillment that remains inaccessible to those who neglect themselves. Investing in yourself is not a one-time act. It is a continual process, a lifestyle of constant refinement, learning, and application. It is the key to doing what the 99% are not willing to do, and it is the force that transforms potential into results, dreams into reality, and ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Taking calculated risks is a hallmark of those who achieve what the 99% are not willing to pursue. Most people live within self-imposed limits, avoiding challenges, opportunities, and decisions that feel uncomfortable or uncertain. They cling to safety, predictability, and the familiar, believing that risk is synonymous with failure. Yet the truth is that risk is not the enemy of success. is the gateway to growth, advancement, and extraordinary achievement. To do what the majority will not, you must develop the courage to step into situations where the outcome is not guaranteed, where success depends on preparation, insight, and the willingness to act despite fear. The average person fears loss, rejection, and embarrassment, and this fear prevents them from seizing opportunities that could change the course of their lives. The uncommon achiever, however, sees fear as a signal, a marker that they are on the right path, and an invitation to expand their capacity. Calculated risk is not reckless action. It is deliberate and informed decision-making. It involves gathering knowledge, assessing potential outcomes, weighing benefits against costs, and taking action with confidence even when uncertainty exists. Those who succeed at the highest level understand that waiting for certainty is a trap, and that fortune favors those who are willing to act while others hesitate. Taking calculated risks requires mental clarity and courage. It requires you to separate emotion from strategy, to evaluate the facts honestly, and to move forward with conviction even when the path is unclear. Most people overestimate the dangers and underestimate the rewards, while the 1% recognize that risk is a necessary ingredient for innovation, influence, and transformation. Every breakthrough, every innovation, and every remarkable success is preceded by a decision to step beyond comfort, to face uncertainty, and to pursue a possibility that most would reject. This willingness to embrace risk also fosters resilience. When you take action in the face of fear, you learn to recover from setbacks, adapt to unexpected outcomes, and persist in the pursuit of your vision. Risk-taking teaches you lessons that comfort cannot provide because it forces you to engage fully with reality, to confront challenges directly, and to find solutions when the path is unclear. It is through these experiences that extraordinary skill, judgment, and confidence are developed. Most people avoid risk because they associate it solely with failure, but failure is a necessary teacher. Each misstep, each obstacle, and each unsuccessful attempt provides data, insight, and clarity that refine your approach and increase your probability of success in future endeavors. Those who embrace risk understand that failure is temporary, information-rich, and transformative, while avoidance guarantees stagnation. Taking calculated risks also requires long-term thinking and vision. It is not about chasing reckless opportunities or impulsive rewards. It is about strategically positioning yourself where potential is high, where preparation meets possibility, and where courage meets timing. This approach enables the uncommon achiever to create opportunity that others cannot even imagine, to expand influence in ways that remain inaccessible to those unwilling to step forward, and to build momentum that compounds over time. Fear and hesitation are natural human responses, but the 1% understand that courage is developed through practice. Each risk taken, each step outside comfort, and each decision made in uncertainty strengthens character, sharpens judgment, and reinforces the mindset necessary for sustained success. Those who avoid risk may feel safe, but they also remain small, ordinary, and constrained by the limits of the familiar. Calculated risk-taking, on the other hand, opens doors to wealth, impact, and fulfillment that cannot be reached through cautious inaction. It positions you ahead of the crowd, allowing you to seize opportunity, while others remain paralyzed by doubt, hesitation, or fear. Risk is the mechanism by which potential becomes tangible. Ideas are transformed into reality, and vision is brought to life. The ability to embrace risk strategically, to act despite fear, and to learn from every outcome is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who merely exist. It is this principle that enables the 1% to do what the 99% will not, to create results that seem impossible to the average, and to leave a legacy that is defined by courage, action, and the relentless pursuit of possibility. Consistency is the silent engine behind extraordinary results, the force that transforms effort into achievement, dreams into reality, and potential into actualization. Most people underestimate the power of small, repeated actions, believing that success comes from grand gestures, sudden breakthroughs, or rare moments of inspiration. They live in cycles of intensity and neglect, fueled by fleeting motivation that inevitably fades, leaving them frustrated and stuck in mediocrity. The 1% understand a fundamental truth. It is not the sporadic bursts of effort that create greatness, but the unwavering daily commitment to actions aligned with vision and purpose. Consistency is the habit of showing up, day after day, doing what must be done, even when the excitement has faded, even when results are not immediately visible, and even when the world seems indifferent. The majority fail because they quit too early, abandon their routines, or allow distractions to pull them off course, while those who persist steadily accumulate advantages, momentum, and skill that compound over time. Consistency is more than repetition. It is deliberate, focus, and aligned action. It is choosing to maintain high standards even when no one is watching, to persist in learning, applying, and refining skills, and to prioritize what matters most over what is convenient or pleasurable in the moment. While most people chase the dramatic or the visible, the uncommon achiever invests in the invisible forces of effort, discipline, and patience, knowing that the results will appear in time, often in ways that surpass imagination. This principle applies across every area of life: financial success, personal development, relationships, health, and influence. Each small, disciplined step adds up, building layers of advantage that the inconsistent can never reach. Consistency also strengthens character, because it requires integrity, self-control, and commitment to principles over whim. When you consistently act in alignment with your values and goals, you cultivate trust in yourself, a sense of mastery over your choices, and confidence that you can handle challenges as they arise. The majority operate reactively, swayed by circumstances, emotions, and external validation. But those who embrace consistency become proactive architects of their lives, shaping outcomes by persistent, intentional action. Momentum is a product of consistency. Each day of showing up, of doing the work, of refusing to quit, creates cumulative energy that propels you forward. While others wait for motivation to strike, the consistent individual has already built an unstoppable rhythm, a flow of action that multiplies opportunities, attracts resources, and amplifies results. Consistency also creates leverage, because repeated effort over time produces exponential returns that sudden bursts of activity cannot match. Small actions, when repeated over months and years, accumulate into outcomes that seem disproportionate to the effort initially invested, creating the illusion of sudden success, though it was quietly constructed through persistence. Most people fail to appreciate this because they are focused on immediate gratification, visible rewards, or social recognition. But the 1% know that the work done consistently in private will reveal itself dramatically in the public sphere. Consistency also teaches resilience. By committing to regular, deliberate action, you develop the ability to endure setbacks, adapt to challenges, and remain steadfast even when circumstances are difficult. You learn that progress is often invisible at first, that the path to mastery requires patience, and that perseverance in the face of doubt is what separates achievers from dreamers. The consistent person also attracts opportunities and relationships that mirror their commitment. People notice reliability, dedication, and the capacity to follow through, and these qualities become magnets for collaboration, mentorship, and advancement. While the majority drift, distracted and inconsistent, the uncommon achiever steadily builds a foundation of trust, competence, and influence that compounds over time. Consistency is a mindset as much as it is a practice. It requires valuing process over outcome, faith over instant results, and dedication over convenience. It transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement because it multiplies every action, every decision, and every habit into a force that shapes reality. It enables you to rise above the fluctuations of emotion, circumstance, and external approval, anchoring your progress in the certainty of disciplined, repeated action. The 1% understand that talent alone is insufficient, luck alone is fleeting, and motivation alone is unreliable, but consistency bridges all these gaps, creating a life of sustained success, influence, and fulfillment that the majority can only admire from a distance.